I'm of this place, but not from it.
Obi. Jogando Obi.
I am Oluseyi Adebanjo. I am a queer, gender non-conforming Nigerian. I'm Yorùbá by birth, family, and calling. I return to speak directly with my ancestors and the deities. It's been 2 years since the last time I was home. I see faces that look like me. I hear voices that sound familiar, and I get to hear my name said correctly. I want you to follow me as I return to connect with Orisha Oya, who dons a beard and goes to war. As I follow a trail back to the powerful legacy of my great-grandmother, Chief Moloran Iya Oloya, and honor my mom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. Ojú mi wí àpẹ ẹsẹ̀ àpẹẹlẹ.
Tommy.
Gbogbo yín báyìí. Very good.
Very good.
Gbogbo yín lẹ́ máa yọmọ dáadáa.
I'm capturing the celebration of feminine and masculine spirits, locating the gender fluidity that is an important part of the Yorùbá inheritance for myself and others. Witness as I commit to my own spirituality. Will I be able to find affirmation for myself in Nigeria as a person between genders and worlds? Yorùbá is an indigenous spiritual practice and religion. Yorùbá culture and spiritual practices have strong roots and belief systems. The goddess lives. All of earth was created by Olodumare. Olodumare, the goddess, the god, the supreme being. Indigenous Yorùbá spirituality was developed in West Africa, honoring Mother Earth before Christianity, Islam, and British colonialism. Yorùbá is diverse, more than the spirituality, and immersed in every aspect of society. Yorùbá is an ethnic identity. It's a language and spiritual practice. The goddess lives. The cosmology of Yorùbá deals with the Orishas, deities and intermediaries between human beings and Olodumare. These Orishas represent different aspects of nature, such as fire, water, earth, truth, and justice, as part of the belief system and practices. We are Yorùbá by birth, family, and calling. Listen. We are from the sun, lightning, Mother Earth, and ancestors. We are the speaking and whispering of Orishas through the trees, from the warmth of smiles, the vibrancy and electric pulse of West Africa. Feel us. Where the days are slow and fast when unexpected, filled with family, extended family, where everyone is uncle, auntie, and in between. Spirits to speak of home, love, mission, ritual. Where the eyes glisten and tell you more than you dare to ask. The space of listening to spirit and having a home foundation of ritual. Where goats, turkeys, cars, music, and stories run wild. See us dance and speak. where the conductors yell out the stops and the buses speed through the marketplace, from where the women are the owners of selling in the market and spirit world. Power of ritual, power of women, power of the world. Where the safest place for a child is on their mother's back, held in by a wrapper, worn so tight. I am Yorùbá by birth, family, and calling. I'm the youngest child of Nigerian parents. I was born in Lagos. Our house held so much more than bricks. It held the foundation of spirit, the soul of Orisha, and the vibrancy of power.
You know, we always say in our house, you know, at my grandmother's house, you know, that we have 101 Orishas. We have Oya, we have Obatala, we have Shago, we have Ogun. That draws a lot of people to my grandmother's house. So they know once they get to Oya, so they are going to find all the different Orishas. So that's...
The bill seeks to outlaw same-sex marriage and provide punishment for its breach.
My mother knew she couldn't protect me during the homophobic atmosphere, so she asked me to cut my beard. I had to create a safety plan concerning my gender and who my allies would be, as I chose to keep the beard. And people's brushes with me, they would be like, "So, what are you?" Demanding, attacking, encroaching to know who and what I am. Are you a man or are you a woman? The signing of the anti-same-sex marriage law by President Goodluck Jonathan makes returning home now difficult with the threat of violence. The passage of the legislation has roots in colonialism, neoliberalism, and the globalization of Western Christian churches, giving money for the creation of these laws. Indigenous practices have always been supportive of gender fluidity and sexuality. And because of these oppressive laws, now some practitioners are starting to be hostile towards queer folks and gender-fierce people.
Ogun olóṣọ́ọ̀sì ni àwọn ọ̀ṣọ́ọ̀sì wọ́n máa sọ àìkú Ògún ṣèyí Olúṣèyí Ọbalúayé ni.
My space was and is the space of being in between. A very familiar place between home and being foreign, between female and male, between modernity and tradition, between art and politics, between the spirit world and Isale Aye. This is an obiki for Oya. Obrin Totori Ogunda Irun Agbonsi, the woman that grows beard because of war. Oya fights like a soldier. Efufule ti da igi looke, the strong wind that tears down trees from their tops. Oyade aviwo, oyade o aviwo, obrivo jokolo. Oyade aviwo, oyade o aviwo, obrivo jokolo. Oyade aviwo, oyade o aviwo, obrivo jokolo. Yorùbá say Orisha Oya is so fierce that the spirit world can't handle her entirely, and neither can the human world. She has one foot in each side. She is the conduit to both planes, doorway to life and death. She gives us breath at birth and requires its return when we pass. Oya's presence is all around us in the atmosphere. Her actions are reflected in the flight of birds, the swaying of trees, the whistling of the wind, the movement of the waves, the sound of music, and the life of fire. The goddess lives. She is associated with things seen and unseen, things felt and unknown. Ayagba Bogo Lane Obrin. Oya dons a beard and goes to war. Oya has strength to fight battle and has the realm of nature to assist her action. She is associated with the weather and sends thunder and lightning. The Orishas Oya and Shango were wife and husband. Shango was a king and is now associated with lightning and thunder. When Shango goes into battle, he sends Oya ahead of him to fight with the wind.
We had it in the history that the power that Shango is using, that Shango got that from Oya.
Furthermore, without Oya, there is nothing Shango can do in battle. Oya fights with thunderbolts like Shango. Oya's attributes make her a powerful woman, described in Yoruba vernacular as Obìnrin bí ọkùnrin. Therefore, the construction of gender among the Yoruba is fluid and complementary. In life, I believe gender fluidity and being gender dynamic supports a legacy of power, worship of Mother Earth, and tools for modernity. How are the gender dynamic Orisha Oya and Moloran Iya Oloya conduits for spirit and a heritage for command?
Tradução.
Being gender dynamic means one is not stuck in the gender binary created by Western society of performing as a woman or as a man. There's a gender spectrum beyond this binary. Identifying as gender nonconforming, gender queer, androgynous, third sex, two-spirit, tabo taco, and so forth. Being gender dynamic allows one to create their gender expression, deviate from genders mirroring assigned sex. Ishara is one of the few places in Yoruba land where it's customary for males to wear wrapper when they are representing Orisha Oya as a priest. Seeing my great uncle dressed as a female Orisha gives space for gender fluidity. I wonder if there's a possibility for my acceptance. Women's roles in being gender dynamic in Yorùbá is one of simultaneous truth. It lies in the place of the spirit and human world concurrently. When spirit is the foundation, it dictates and influences the physical world. Yorùbá as a language is genderless. The pronoun they exists, however, she or he does not. Sex and gender only comes up if one needs to qualify something. A genderless language, Orisha Oya, allows room for fluidity and simultaneous truth. The goddess lives. I am the inheritance of my great-grandmother, Moloran Iya Oloya. She was such a force of nature that her magic and leadership was untouchable. She was a chief and an Oya priestess. People have traveled from other countries to be initiated by her, and her Oya house has been photographed for books. Orisha Oya is the guardian of ancestral customs. Egungun masquerade. Egungun are the collective representation of ancestors. By honoring them and recalling their lives, we gain strength and continue to have them with us. I found out about my great-grandmother during college when I started searching for my spiritual path. My parents didn't raise their 3 children in a particular practice and left us to decide our own way. I started asking my mom about this practice. Moloran Iyaloya had special, mighty, spiritual power, she told me. Moloran Iyaloya had one child, Simbi. My grandmother, Simbi, had 5 children. My mother was the only female child. My mother was raised by my great-grandmother. She was raised in Isha Aremo, Ogun State, while her parents worked in Ile Ife, Osun State. My great-grandmother, Moloran Iya Oloya, wanted my mom to stay and complete her Orisha apprenticeship, as my mom also needed to go to school. Unfortunately, conflict arose in the family. Iba, Simbi. When my grandmother Simbi died in 1954, Moloran Iya Oloya raised my mom full-time. My mom was 10 years old at the time of her mother's death. Iba Moloran Iya Oloya. The powerful Moloran Iya Oloya died in 1964. Her father didn't want her to take on the command because of education and out of fear for her safety. My grandfather was an active Muslim who made the Hajj to Mecca and a follower of this Imam. My mom never took on the leadership that was destined for her. Oya makes you look in places you don't want to look at, which is why people go back to Orisha. The goddess lives. Orisha Oshun, owner of the river, of fishes, and moving through difficult obstacles. Warrior of abundance, goddess of love, children, community, and sensuality. Fighter of truth and land, we ask that you continue to honor us. We Orisha practitioners have put our lives into this sacred grove. Put our bodies on the front lines against the legacy of colonialism, the reality of Christianity, Islam, and urbanization. We honor you at the Oshun Festival in the last of the sacred groves, sacred forests in Yorùbá land. You have blessed us in getting this sacred grove declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. We see the fruits of our labor and of honoring you. There is a resurgence in the grove and unlimited growth of the Oshun Festival, with millions of Orisha practitioners globally traveling here. The Oshun Festival is one of the largest cultural celebrations in Nigeria. I'm traveling to visit Chief Priestess Adedoyin Talabi Fanayi in Oshogbo, Oshun State. I want to learn about how it's possible for the women in my family to be powerful and take on this incredible task of leadership. Get insight on my role in this vibrant practice. How do I represent a balance of feminine, masculine spirit? Be a warrior and a partner, and being courageous in the face of fear. Priestess Doyen is a high-ranking priestess, princess, and an important state representative of Oshogbo.
Women play a vital role in Yorùbá spirituality. When they talk of those who have the forces of life, that's why the Olorishas or the Herbalists or anybody operating in a spiritual way should not underrate women, otherwise they will not be able to work out. Even in the court, when they said at the certain group that, okay, women are forbidden, but the women will be at the background. Even with Ifa, that Ifa is dominated by men, but there is no town without Yanifa. For all forms of Orisha spirituality, there is no where female energy does not play a vital role.
She wanted to offer up her spirit to the goddess. She wanted to offer up her dance to the energy of the wind. She wanted to offer up her heart of love to the deity of the river. She wanted to offer up her gender to her masculinity. She wanted to offer up her restraint, shackles to her freedom, to her higher power, her Ori, head, and deity Orisha. As she entered her power, she saw his power inside of self. As they merged within the vessel of body, the spirit remembered who they were, woman, man, Taco Tabo. They knew they had a right to the power they had nurtured, cultivated, and harvested. They knew they had a birthright to this hybridity of soul, gender, body, mind, home, and energy. This hybridity identity no one could deny after she gave herself to him, gave self to them, gave self to spirit, gave self to ancestors, gave self to the witches, Iyami, Osoanga, gave self to the womb of creation, Olodumare. Spirit became they and them and woman fested now, transformation and shed fear, her old name to their new name, to actualize success to this new gender, new life, new love of self and resurgence of the past traditions in Orisha for this modern context. Everything she touches changes, everything that changes touches them.
ọmọ yani lóde epo àrẹ̀mú ọ̀gán ọmọ yani lóde epo ibi mẹ́ta làwọ̀ yá sí gbàràwú omi àtẹ́wọ́gbẹja ìyá òní ẹ̀ bá ń kórè yèyé ọ̀ṣun agbájẹsà tọ́nà kòkòwé níṣẹ́ bá ń kórè yèyé ọ̀ṣun ní ládékojú ọmọ onígbòjì bí ìjẹta abẹ́rẹ́ orílẹ̀ òbí tẹ́nigbọ́lá mo ní ọ̀tẹ́nigbòkun ìgbẹ̀lódé rẹ̀ lókìtì ẹ̀fọ́ ìjẹsà torí èkìtì ẹ̀fọ́ ọba ọmọrùn ogun wá sílé ayé tẹ́nigbọ́lá tẹ́nigbòkun ìgbẹ̀lódé rẹ̀ lókìtì ẹ̀fọ́ ìyá mi tòkìtì ẹ̀fọ́ dé ọwọ́ àṣọògùn ọ̀yọ́ lòdò lóore nínú ilé mọ́ nínú ilé ìyá mi ládékojú ọmọ onígbògidì idẹ